everyone, and welcome back. In case you saw my video where I got a gift from Pam of the jars, I'm wasting no time. So, figured I would bring you along. This is the game plan because I'm here house sitting. They're away. Pinto beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jars so far. Because what I want to do, let me sit you over here. All I did was rinse them. I'm going to lower you down. All I did was rinse them, and now I'm going to go in with a teaspoon of salt. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I did call Pam. She said it's a half a cup of beans to 1 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to try to double decker my canning pot. So 2, 4, 5, that would be 6, because I also have beef inside the microwave that I'm going to cut up and put in some other jars. I have chicken in there. I figured now's the chance. Let's see if we could get a lot of beans put up. This is also Canuary. I wasn't personally invited, but that's okay. There's a lot of great channels that are doing it. It's just basically you teaching someone how to can. If you're new here, hi, I'm Melody. I just learned how to pressure can beginning of summer maybe, and I absolutely love it, and I used to be petrified. So beans I've never done before. I did black beans. Now I'm moving on to pinto beans. I have a lot of different beans that I have to get done. So 16 ounce pint-sized jar, half a cup of beans with a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to go in with Himalayan salt, and then I'm going to turn on my teapot, so hang tight a second. Okay, I just turned my electric tea kettle on. So it's going to be a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use Himalayan, and I'm sorry about that, my arm's in the way. I am really going to try to get quite a few things done, pressure canned, so that if I am in my vehicle, I will have protein. So Himalayan salt, we're going to go in with 1 teaspoon, and it's 70 minutes if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check that, but I'm also going to go in with meat in the same size 16 ounce jar. Pretty sure she said it's 70 or 75 minutes. I will text her just to make sure. So I figured I'm gonna push my canner. This time I have a Presto, and I am going to see how much canning I can actually get done. Okay, so that's the pinto beans. And now I think I'm gonna I just turned my Presto canner on. It's on super low. You want to bring your jar. This is, remember, I'm not like a canning queen, I'm learning. Cold beans, I didn't soak them. And when you go and put them in your pressure canner, this will be cold, the water will be cold. They will be the same temperature. And you want to bring them up together. So, let me think how many jars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves me 2. Okay, let's move on to, I have to make room. Let me move on to, I had to defrost the beef, but I am going to turn you now this way. There's the canner. I am going to be right here. I am going to use a plastic cutting board on my defrosted meat, and I'm going to cut it in chunks, and it's going to go into these brand new clean washed jars. I'm not really sure how many I'll get, but we shall see, won't we? And I will have to rinse this tray off. Let me do that before I forget. I like to clean up as I go along. Plus, I'm at someone else's house. And I know that this was cleaned before he left this morning. So one of the baggies leaked just a little bit. I'm going to put it back on here if I could line it up. Sorry about the noise. I am trying to line up the microwavable tray. This is a KitchenAid microwave. And, okay, let me get this rag. Whoops. So yeah, I got the pressure canner from Voon, one of my moderators on my channel, and I was just petrified. So if I can get over being petrified and you've never canned before, you will love it. So I might just use a knife that size. Let me put this little dog out. Go ahead, there's no interruptions. Okay, let's start. My hands are clean. Obviously, I just washed all those jars. You could put seasoning in your meat. I'm going to start off with this. And I'm just going to really just chunk it. I think I'm just going to put it in the sink so I can take it out to the trash when I'm done. Okay. I am just going to go straight down the middle. And I'm just going to do pretty big chunks of some beef. I think this middle part is a little bit still frozen, like this one's not. She said you don't want to do frozen meat. She said that I either had to defrost it or put it in water. So that's what I did. So I am going to bring you along for a canning session. So let me just check. Say 3, 4. Okay. What I'm going to do, quickly run these under some cold water to make sure they're not frozen. Okay. And then now what you would do, take your clean jar. I'm going to use the funnel. Hopefully you can see. And we're just going to go in with some big cubed beef. I'm pretty sure that I don't have to add any liquid to this. That looks pretty good to me. I want to watch my head space. There we go. You don't want it to be above this line right here. The beans will need boiling hot water to go over it. The meat won't. It'll make its own juices from what I was taught. But you can also go in and season this. Let's see. I kind of don't want to mix match the meat. But, so yeah, this is going to be my, I'll put the hashtag in. I'm going to just push that down like that. Keep your hands clean, and you can go in with whatever seasoning. I am going to pick something neutral. I say that, but everything but the alot seasoning mix, salt, chili, pepper, cheese. Okay, now we're not going to do that. We're going to go in with a little Montreal seasoning because you want it to have a flavor. When you take it out. So I'm just going to do a teaspoon. And let's keep going with this other meat. It's all beef, so I don't have to worry about cross-contaminating anything. But let me get these baggies over here because I think a few are dripping. And I don't want that. And I want to make sure that my centers are completely thawed. Even though I did microwave them, since I'm new, I really want to make sure I don't feel anything frozen in the middle. You hear dogs barking, it's just the typical norm. Plus I'm dog sitting and house sitting tonight, so what better thing to do on a Saturday night? The dog sit and house sit. But they warned me of this when I first came here. All I'm doing is just rinsing off these fillets and making sure that the middle is not too frozen, because I hit the frost multiple times. So I'm going to just start cutting this up. If you do feel like the center is frozen, you could just run it right under cold water in your hand and it literally will soften up right away. But she said you do not want to pressure can any meat that's frozen. It has to be defrosted. If I see a piece of fat, I'm just going to cut it off. Dogs never fails. So I'm going to cut this up and then I'll bring you back. Okay, so I just got this jar done. That's the one that has the Montreal steak seasoning. You don't have to season the meat when you put it in, but if you want it to come out with some flavor and a little less worry, you can do that. So what I think I'm looking, let me see, garlic, nope. Savory Steakhouse. Let's go in with this one. I'm going to do a teaspoon, which this looks really good. And I'm going to season that because then, it smells delicious. This is what it looks like. I did pork for the very first time, probably a month into canning, and it turned out flawless. I did barbecue, you know, and then like a pork rub. So she did say you can season it. So that's 2. And I am going to have to wipe these jars off because they obviously have blood on them. Let's go with the next jar. Big chunks. You could trim off any fat if you have it. And I hit the defrost button like multiple times while she was on the phone. So I do feel a little bit frozen in there. So what I will do is just run that under cold water. And then I will put it in the jar. So I don't have the canner on yet. This one's good. I am going to turn it on once I have this all ready to go. But I wanted to put some beef up in some pint-sized jars. So even if I get 3, I would be pretty happy with that, honestly, considering I have no beef up in a jar. So I'm going to take this that feels just a little bit in the center. Right here, hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to run it under cold water. And give that. Now the chicken is soaking in cold water, so I'm just trying to be uber careful to make sure it doesn't feel like it's frozen in the center. You know, sometimes it'll miss the center when you are defrosting it from a microwave. And I was out and very busy today, so while I had the house, I figured I could get a few things accomplished. It's hard to do that on a Sunday when they're watching football. There's a lot of yelling or dogs barking. Not that there's something wrong with that. That is real life here, but I just personally wanted to do it with a little peace and quiet. Okay. And there is that one. So I'm thinking that I'm going to, let me wash my hands really quickly, even though I still have to touch more beef. I think that I am going to use the same seasoning. I'm going to use, and I need a marker. Keep that in mind that if you use permanent magic marker, when you put it into your canner, you will, I'm just gonna, it will stay on there. It won't like wear off. So this is that savory steakhouse one. And that could be an issue because then you get it mixed up. So these two are the savory steakhouse one. And this is the Montreal steak. So let's see about getting another jar. I know some people are like, oh, I'll just do it and I'll bring you back. I'm just trying to show you how I do it. It might not be the perfect way of doing it, but I do try to keep it as sanitary as possible. And I'm not scared to pressure can meat because Pam built that confidence in me. And yeah, I'm so grateful. And like I said, this is kind of sitting in some blood. So I will rinse the outside of these off. These are just some scraps over there. So next what I have is some steaks. So again, I'm going to run these under cold water. It just helps the middle. I just usually squeeze the middle just a little bit, make sure it's squishy. Because like I said, I really try to be uber careful. And this one's not going to be filled all the way. So let me dispose of this. And then I have these. So these two are, I should have just left it out. The savory steakhouse. And these two are going to be the Montreal steak seasoning. So let's see how these look. Let me take it to the sink. Make sure these are good to go. And I always like to rinse my meat off anyway, so. That's a personal preference for me. I don't always do it, but if I feel like, again, sorry to repeat myself, but you said no frozen meat, so that scares me a little bit. And if I feel like just a spot is semi-frozen, I will go under the water with it. And that's it. We're going to use this one for that jar there. And then I will clean this all up, disinfect from blood. Always be careful with that, my friends. You could trim off some of the fat. If there's not that much fat on it, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I've seen some channels signing up for this, is it Canuary? Because it's January. Yeah. I really wanted to do the pantry closet. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. The pantry challenge. But if you know my circumstances, I had to move. So that's really stinky because I was all prepared in advance. And I don't know if I could do that here. Show what I'm using. I am trying to use up some of my stuff. They are too. I'm just trying to can up meat so that all the meat doesn't go. I feel like if it's in a jar they're not really touching it too much. So this should be enough. For this jar here. And voila, we will get 4 16-ounce, which is a pint, of beef. I'm super excited about that. So let me move this without spilling blood everywhere and get this into the sink. Wash my hands. I do believe in cleaning up as you go along. It just makes life way much easier. Rinse this. And now I will go over it with some soap. Make sure I didn't drip any anywhere. And I have to make this one other jar. Montreal steak seasoning. Sorry, I had a brain fart. So let me wash this cutting board and then I'll bring you back. Okay, actually, I didn't even wash the cutting board yet because I want to get this before I forget. Montreal steak seasoning. I'm using a teaspoon. And now I have to try to find a marker. I just wiped this all off and just made a mess. So let's see. I can usually tell by how it looks. Those two are the Montreal steak. And these two are the Savory Steakhouse. So, 4 jars of beef up. That's super exciting. So I definitely need to find a marker. So basically I want to see if I can double decker my canner this time, because I never actually got to do that before. And Boone sent me that, so I would like to at least try. Okay, so this cutting board is washed. I'm just going to quickly dry it off because this is the surface that I'm going to use. There we go. All right. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt into the beef jars. So, I mean, honestly, I'm pressure canning and I'm not scared one bit. I feel if you can make friends on YouTube with someone that has canning skills and are patient, oh, it is definitely so much more helpful. Like I said, Pam has helped me out a lot. Okay, so that is 4 jars of beef done. And I was waiting for my tea kettle to boil. I also have chicken I have to cut up. So this is this one, and this one is the Montreal. So let me see if I can locate a marker, and I will be right back. I want to be able to write on it before I put it in the canner. So hopefully you can see this lid. I am going to write Montreal. I found it. Like, so glad Jean had a spare permanent magic marker around. Montreal steak. And then 123. That's so weird, isn't it? To be writing 23. So I'm going to do that for the other one. I just dry it off. And then I'm going to write so I don't get confused on what the seasoning is. That's my main reason why I'm doing it. Montreal steak. Seasoning 123. Okay, now you're still going to want to make sure you wipe the rims off on your jars. I'm not trying to make this video really long. I'm really sorry, my friends, but only opportunity that I'm getting is to do this. And I also have chicken that's still cut up. So these two are done for there. So let me get some distilled white vinegar. I have to rewash my hands. Ooh, I missed beef. Oh my goodness, my friends. I still have beef to cut up. That's okay. So I'm going to wipe these two right now. And the reason why you do this is so that you get a really good seal. You don't want any debris or anything getting on it. As long as you follow the rules and you take your time and you do this correctly, even a new canner, pressure canner like me, I have the Presto 24 quart, I think it is. I'm not scared. So these two are labeled. And I will go in fingertip tight, and I will just, you only want to turn it just with your fingers. You don't want to like put all your strength behind it and tighten it. Okay, now these two, so let me move this one out of the way. This one is the Savory Steakhouse. So let's get to brand new lids. I want to dry them, just so I can write on them. And we are going to write the next two jars, the seasoning, which is Savory Steakhouse. Okay, let's see. Savory Steakhouse, which this one wasn't dried all the way, so it's a little faint. So I might have to go over it when it comes out. And then Savory Steakhouse. And that's 123. Always make sure you put the date on there. Even though I wipe these off, I want to make sure. Meat tends to make its own liquid. So I thought I was done with doing the beef, but maybe not. Okay, those are done, and they look glorious. So, let's see how much more beef I have to do. Let me set you right there. I thought I had it all, but I guess not. I think there's 3 more in here, so let me rinse it, because, you know, blood. And 3 pieces to rinse off. And I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the next ones plain or season them with something else. Fortunately, I just washed this cutting board. This is a great way to go through your stock and free up room in your freezer, because then it makes it shelf stable. So let's see how many jars I have washed. Might have to wash some more because the other ones have beans in it. I'm not sure if I'll get 4 again, but let me move these off since they're clean. Which was foolish. So case it leaks blood, it won't go everywhere. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to cut right through it. Big chunks. Something like that. You could just cut the meat off. I'm hoping you're seeing this. Maybe this video will just be about canning beef. I have not canned ground beef yet. So this is beef steaks. It needs to get used up instead of just letting them sitting there. It's a good way to put some shelf-stable food up. I'm going to try to go around this piece of fat right here. And just going to chunk it best I can. So today's episode is going to be canning beef. I have never canned beef before, so yeah, that'll work for me. I did pork and chicken legs, like a pork loin and chicken legs. So instead of me bringing you on for those beans, I will do a different video of just different beans that I'm learning to can. Newbie canner cans beef. So what can you do with this? You can do like a beef stroganoff out of this. Just boil some noodles. You could do really anything. You could add it into stew, soup. I'm sure you could. I'm just trimming off some fat. You can see I'm leaving the pieces a little bit more chunkier. And I think this jar might have enough. Let's see. Just want to watch your head space. So let's see if we could go around this hunk of meat. You know me, I'm the one-woman show over here. I don't have anyone to record for me, so this will be considered like a convenience food where you could just pull it off the shelf and turn it into whatever you want. So I think we can get 2 more pieces down in here. Oh, I can't stand that noise, but okay. I just don't want it to be over the head space. And the rest of this, technically, except this little piece, is fat. We're trimming it off. So right where the rim is of the jar, unless you have like a gap, there you go. But I usually take it right to about there when it comes to meat, not usually past it. And now all this is garbage. Somebody will say, oh, you should have used it for X, Y, and Z. But realistically, I can't. I'm on the mad dash run to get meat put up on the shelf in these jars while they're away. So I'm not in anyone's, way. Okay, let me move this. So I got 1 jar, right? Yep, 1 jar. Okay, I'm going to remove this. That's the biggest thing. I'm very cautious about blood. Because if you're going to mess with chicken and then you don't clean up from the blood from the beef, you could have cross-contamination. And make sure you wash your hands. I'm washing mine right now. And I am going to take a little soap and some hot water. Re-wipe off this cutting board, front and back, and the knife before I move on to the next meat. Keep everything as sanitary as possible. And this I will wipe off, rinse off with cold water. Has a little too much soap in it. But that is what I do to give myself a peace of mind, is to make sure, you know, I clean up as I go along. That's very helpful. And if you have the ball canning book or any canning book, follow the directions. Or if you're lucky like me and you have a really good friend who doesn't mind answering my questions, that's always very helpful as well. So yeah. But this is the first time I'm doing like steak. Some was eye rounds, some was not. So let me wipe up some of this soap. Better to be safe than be sorry. And you see, when you wipe off your jar, you see that little bit of blood? That's what you don't want. You don't want anything interfering with your seal. So now I have to pick a seasoning for this last jar, which I do feel like has a little bit more meat in it. I don't know. I still question myself sometimes. I mean, it's down below the ring right there. It just seems a little extra full, but I wouldn't have enough for another jar. Okay, so I'm going to go in a teaspoon of salt. Let's see if we can find something different to do this jar with. Let's see. Let's check out some spices. Can't really open up this other door. I'm going to sit you right there to stare at the beautiful jars. I try to find another type of seasoning blends that would be different. This is Cowboy seasoning and rub. It is showing it on steak. So there it is. That's the one that I'm picking, Cowboy seasoning and rub. You could leave your meat plain, but if you're in a hurry to cook it, you don't have to worry about trying to season it too. Whoa. And in we go. I might actually, because I just dumped some in the sink. Okay. So this is the one that I just did right there. Okay, with the seasoning. Did like a teaspoon. Well, my teaspoon spilled in the sink, but now you want to flip your rag over. And you want to clean this because you see that seasoning on there? You want this to be immaculately clean. And then, same routine. Take a lid. Try to dry it off. If you're like me who just washed them. Oops, let me write the name first. Duh. Okay, this one is Cowboy seasoning and rub. Cowboy seasoning and rub. 123. Okay. And that is going to go on just like that with a ring. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 jars of beef out of that just by quickly rushing and taking some meat out of the freezer. So that's a definite plus. And now I have chicken to do. What I'd like to do is the beef and the beans together. So let me figure that out, if that's what I'm going to do. And if that's the case, I'm going to bring you back. There's my cowboy seasoning and rub, January 23. So hang tight. Okay, I decided I'm going to do these 3 jars right here, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm going to stick with the pinto beans because I want to get them used up. Well, not just so much like used up. I want to make sure that I have an array of different proteins to be able to eat. I didn't wash my funnel, so hold on a second. I'm going to get some hot soapy water and wash that very well. Okay. And I'm going to go in half a cup. I've already picked through these beans before. I don't soak the beans. Some people soak them. Some people pre-boil them. I didn't do that with the black beans, and they turned out perfectly. So I guess we're going to turn this video into canning beef and pinto beans. So I will bring you back when I am all done. I'm just going to add the sugar, the salt, which is 1 teaspoon to half a cup. And I will bring you back, because I think my battery's starting to die. I'm going to bring you back after I do that. And when I go to put them in the canner, I'll bring you back and show you that. I had to get the plug and plug my phone in. The beans, we're going to be pouring hot water over them right to that first beginning lip of the jar. I'm probably going to have to boil another tea kettle full for all the other beans. And I will stir them up. So, no liquids going in with the beef. I will text Pam to make sure if it is 70 or 75 minutes, because I forgot and I should have wrote it down. But yeah, so I have to fill this up with water. This tea kettle. We'll let that fill. And then I'm going to go in with my debubbler. I'm just going to give my beans a stir. This is how I did my black beans. I hear you can use like chicken stock, all sorts of things, but I'm just a little basic right now. Like I said, I'm still learning. And if I can do this, anyone can do this. And that is a little bit shy. I do have one bean that's floating. Ouch. So, I pulled it out. I'm just stirring my beans up. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more jars. So, we're almost done with this canning project, which is beef and what beans did I do? Shoot, I had to think. I just put it away. I just did pinto beans. So, beef and pinto beans. So, let me put the tea kettle on so it can fill up 4 more jars of water, which for some reason now my electric tea kettle is leaking. And we're going to wrap this project up. Okay, so I just top these off. Some more liquid. These two, oops, that one needed a little bit more. Want to watch your head space. Double check this one. Just give it a couple extra drops. I did turn the canner on now, and I'll leave it down below, but I think it's 75 minutes, I think she said. But I will text her and make sure of that. And then I'll turn you this way to show you what's going on with all this stuff all over. I'm going to debubble those, and then I also have to find, let's see, two more lids. I have new lids. I had a couple extra jars up here from doing black beans, so I like to give them a stir, get the salt incorporated, get you in the habit of debubbling. And then you could check your headspace, or if you have a bean that's floating and maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't like that, you can just pluck it right out. I tried to cook pinto beans in a crock pot one time. They took so long. They just really take a while to cook, so this is a real easy way of getting to avoid that. Headspace looks good. Okay, now I'm going to wipe these off. And like I said, I will have to find two more lids. Even though my circumstances might not be the greatest, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can go back and take a look at it. I really wanted to do the Canuary. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And I do have to fix this one. It's kind of faded. Let's see. Pinto beans. I think they just take a while to cook. So this is another plus by pressure canning it. Okay. Now I have to get two. And I'm going to hit pause. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like as I load them in. I'm not really sure how many I can load in. If I have to quick wash some more jars, I will. But I'm trying to get a lot done and double decker them, because that would be my first time doing that. So let me go get two more brand new lids, and we're going to get these in the canner. Okay, I have two more lids. I may have to just write on them when they come out, which is fine. Remember, fingertip tight. But I am very happy to have some pinto beans up. I still have quite a bit more pinto beans. These are kidney beans right here. So, let me take this lid off. And let's see. I'll turn you around. And thank you for hanging out with me on this Saturday night while I'm house sitting and dog sitting. I have to put the rings on these still. I'm not really sure how many it's going to hold, considering I've never done meat and beans at the same time, but we're going to go in. What is this? Oh my goodness gracious. Is that just bubbling? I am going to dump this out, because I know I absolutely lost it. I am going to re-add 3 quarts of water into here. I don't know, it just looks I don't know, like a little cloudy. This water in this kitchen sink comes out a little bit slower, so thank you for having patience with me. I'm learning this whole canning thing and, you know, trying to speed up videos. So I'm going to fill that up with water, and then we're going to put the jars in. Okay, I fixed the water on it. It's 3 quarts for my Presto, and we're going to start going in with the jars. Let's see how many we can fit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so far I have 2, 4, 6, 8 in there. On the bottom, you can definitely fit another one on the bottom. So I want to fill her on up. So let's go with some more beans. Basically, I could go in with chicken because I'm going to have to patch all these videos together. I've had to stop a few times. Go in with chicken, go in with more beans. But I have room for another jar at the bottom. And let's just wing it. Let's get 6 jars washed. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've never double-deckered before, so I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. You know, I'm still learning as well. And this is my first time trying to double-decker and get lots of things done all at once. So, ooh, that's hot. If you know, then you know when you open up a jar, it smells. You need some definite hot water. They have a very bad smell, so you need to make sure you wash your jars, look them over for any nicks, possible crack. There's a lot of soap in here, so I may be rinsing for a hot minute. That's okay. The jar will be nice and clean. Doesn't really take that long. Woo, my hands are so red. Okay, I'm going to rinse the jars, and then I'm going to figure out if I'm doing chicken or more beef. Okay, all my jars are washed. I have this chicken that's thawed. Must have a hole in the baggie. So I want to cut it. And I think I'm going to go in with some chicken. Since it's thawed perfectly. Let me turn you around here because I'm going to have to do this one super quick. Hold on. Thank you for having patience on my you know, one-woman show over here. So I'm going to use different cutting board. Jars are clean. And I'm excited to get some chicken up. I just don't want to be up all night pressure canning, but, you know, it's the way it goes sometimes. And I might rearrange the beans, put them on the top. I'm not really sure yet. And I'm legit chunking this chicken. I'm going to do the same process. 1 teaspoon of, this one's a little bit big. 1 teaspoon of salt. I may flavor this, I may not, because when you don't, you can do a lot of different things with it. I'm hoping you can see this. Sorry, my friends. Okay. I have one of their dogs in the kitchen with me right now because she's acting scared. I don't know why, but she is technically fine. Okay, that is that jar. That's fine. I don't know, do you cut your chicken differently? Do you big chunk it? Let me know down in the comments below because some of this is really new. So let me grab another clean jar. A little excess water in there. I will feel majorly accomplished, even if this video runs a little bit longer. Majorly accomplished that I am getting chicken up. I do have pork. That may have to wait. So let's see here how much chicken I can get. Put up. And I like to trim excess off. It doesn't look good. Okay, that looks plenty for me right there. Well, I might blow through these jars faster than I thought. But no, this is the only piece of chicken, right? Nope, there's another piece. Okay, so hopefully I washed enough. Because I feel like it's much more important to get meat put up. And that is my goal tonight. I was going to make a few other recipes, but I will bring them to you shortly. I just planned on working tonight and making video content. Why it's not all loud and stuff like that. Just trimming some of the extra off. And it goes. Okay. All right, one more to go. So I'm sorry if this first full canning session runs a little bit longer on my video. I'm really sorry. I don't have an editing software where I can cut certain things out, but I can hit the pause button and bring you back to show you how many jars of chicken I end up getting. So hang tight. Okay, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one was a little low, so I just took out of the other 3. And that's the chicken that I took out. So I am going to wipe the rims. I'm not even sure if I'm going to season it, to be quite honest with you. I haven't really decided besides just a teaspoon of salt. Let me see if there's something good. We'll season it. Let's see. Okay, what do we got? For chicken. Garlic parmesan for chicken. Or we have, no, not that. Let me keep looking to see what I find that could be seasoning for chicken. Brown sugar bourbon. Oh, I love that. Okay. We are going to do brown sugar bourbon in 2. Just a teaspoon. Okay. Then I'm going to go in with salt. I'm using Himalayan salt. Okay. And now I have to figure out, what do I want to do with the other two? Plain or not? Okay, let's keep looking. I'm looking above in the cabinet. Barbecue rub and seasoning with coffee and garlic. Huh. You smell this bad boy. That is so different. See that? Barbecue rub with seasoning with coffee and garlic. I've never had chicken with coffee, so let's keep looking, even though that sounds pretty good. Let me see. I'm looking. And this other one, did anybody ever hear of this one? It's everything but the alot seasoning blend. Salt, chili pepper, cheese, chipotle, and cumin. What do you think? Should we go with that for the last 2 jars? I don't know. Let's see, I'm going to try to look one more time. Okay, we're going to go with essence of emerald. I think that's what we're going to do because I'm not trying to wreck her little spice cabinet here. This is original essence all-purpose seasoning blend. Let me smell it. That's what it looks like. Smells pretty good. Let's go for it. One teaspoon in there. And a teaspoon in that one. And that's the only one I have to add the salt to. So I'm going to put that there and that there so that I know what I did. So this is brown sugar. Oops. Brown sugar. Oh, I can't see. These lids aren't dry all the way. Brown sugar. Bourbon. B-O-U-R-B-O-N. 123. Okay, that's that one, and I need to do one more. I have to really dry it, or it won't let me write on it. Okay. $1.23. Okay, that's those two. 2 more to go, my friends, and these are going in the canner. What a very productive video. I will say that for sure. Sorry about the lack of videos, but if you know, you know. Let's see, that's essence. Emeralds. Essence. 123. One more to go. That's the most tedious part for me because I'm trying to get better with writing on it. And especially when it has a seasoning, I think you should. So yeah, this marker. Okay, this one I will have to rewrite on that one because it's not dry all the way. When you try to write on it when it's wet, it doesn't always work. Okay, so I got done the chicken and the beef. So, fingertip tight. I've already wiped the jars off. You saw me do that. I'm trying to get a lot of things canned all at once. Okay. And now I can set them off to the side. So let's see. We have room on the bottom. We're going to go in with the new tray that will let me double decker. So let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the bottom there. We're going to go in with the beef. Pinto beans are on the bottom. Which is scary because I never did this before. Everything's always scary, but hopefully it all works out. And I would have gotten something majorly accomplished while they're not here. And that's get some meat pressure canned. There we go. Let me show you. Double deckered. Pinto beans are on the bottom. Chicken and beef is on the top. I am going to text Pam to make sure that that is 75 minutes or 70 minutes. I have 3 quarts of water in my pressure canner. And what I'm going to do now, turn it on. Let me get the lid. We're going to put this lid on. Last time, I didn't have the pot right. I couldn't get my arrow to line up. So that's probably, yep, it's absolutely. I said this before in a canning video. Make sure your arrow is on the right hand side over here, and then your lid will line up like that. So we're going to let that come up to temperature. Like I said, I'm going to have to patch some of these pieces together. I'm going to clean up, and like I said, I will text Pam to find out if it's 70 or 75 minutes with the beans, chicken, and the beef, which I'm so excited. And yeah, we're going to wait for this right here, this valve, to start consecutively steaming, like straight steaming, and then we will set a timer for 10 minutes. So I will bring you back when we get. Not sure if you can see this, but once this comes out fully steaming, okay, then you have to set a timer for 10 minutes. And then you will put your little jiggly wiggly on when the timer goes off in 10 minutes. And then you will wait for your pressure. My pressure here is between 10 and 12. And everything's in there. So wish me luck. That would be a major accomplishment. It's 10 o'clock at night here on a Saturday night. I have beef, I have chicken, and I have pinto beans in there. So let's see how it all turns out. Here's my finished product. This is the beef and, oh, my voice. It's the beef and the chicken. And then these are my pinto beans. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and share. And I think it looks pretty fabulous. There's beef right there. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to go over to Sutton's Days and check out the Jarred Up January that's going on. And this is my Jarred Up January for the night. Steak, beef, and chicken, and pinto beans. So I love you all. Like, subscribe, and share. Watch the master playlist. Greatly appreciate it. And I'm Melody. I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.